Welcome, everybody, to the PHDJ podcast. My name is Mike.
Yo, it's Joe.
What's going on, Joe?
It's another day in paradise.
Yeah. So if you listened last week, Joe and I were kind of throwing sales questions at each other spontaneously, though. We didn't prepare each other. We didn't prep each other. Right. And my point with this concept was to see how well we think on our feet. Not when we have time to craft an answer, or even, I don't know if you do this, Joe, but sometimes I get an email question and I know I've had that in the past. So I actually search and I'm proud of my previous answer. So I just search my emails and go, where did I answer that previously? I wrote a really good response last time. So, I mean, that's obviously the advantage of when you get stuff like that email. But when you get a question that you're not used to, and these aren't outrageously crazy questions, but questions that just aren't typically in your wheelhouse, and you get them in the phone call or a Zoom call or a face-to-face meeting, you have to think on your feet. And that was my whole point in kind of coming up with this concept. So we bantered a few last week. And
yeah, if you haven't listened to part one, I would go back and listen to part one.
Go back and listen to part one. I took some takeaways from Joe's answers. So
same.
So I learned some stuff and I appreciate it. So I still have 5 that I wanted to throw at you, and you said you had 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't I start? Why don't I give you one, and we'll go from there. So what do you do if no one's dancing?
You know, I get this question almost every consultation that I do, and I think it's a recurring nightmare for couples that are getting married, especially the brides, to have this dream or this nightmare like leading up to the wedding that they plan this huge wedding and all of a sudden nobody's dancing. And I'm going to be honest with you, I cannot tell you that's ever happened to me. I have done alcohol-free noon in an all-glass venue downtown with bums walking in and out during the middle of the reception, and still had people out of their seats after lunch dancing. This is what I do. This is what I've been doing since I was a 13-year-old boy. My experience level in terms of emceeing, in terms of getting people going, in terms of reading an audience is second to none. And I'm not trying to brag or boast, but this is what I was put on this earth to do. Like, I know how I'm going to get these couples up. If I played my first couple of songs and they didn't move, I'm going to, riff a little bit on the mic, and I'm going to go to Unchained Melody because that seems to transcend all generations. And at least I'm going to get the old couples up for a ballad. And then I might even go double ballad and then go into my first fast song, or hopefully fast song. But I am going to work relentlessly to get those people moving. And to be honest with you, it's just not difficult for me to get them going.
Boy, that is a confident, borderline cocky answer.
Truth. And it's a fact. I'm like, yo, girl, it's a fact. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. So now, first of all, I started the last show by asking you to role play this, to not break out of character. Were you in character the whole time?
That's real.
So you would actually say to somebody, I get this question in almost every consultation?
I do. Okay. I get it all. I think they literally go, I woke up last night. Some girls have told me, I woke up, I had a nightmare that nobody danced at my wedding. And I'm like, You're not the only one. Yeah. It's a real thing.
So I guess I was going to say more honest, but I don't want to insult you that way. I guess my experience has been that, every once in a while. So I answer that question more along the lines of,
listen, are they all a 10? No, I've had plenty of 3s, but people danced, you know.
So I think I usually go more along the lines of, first of all, rest assured that's very rare at a wedding. We do some corporate parties where we struggle to get people dancing or reunions, but I can tell you at a wedding reception, it's very rare. Most weddings are filled with family and friends who are happy for you and happy for the couple that got married. And so it's very rare. But I will tell you this, in that rare situation, we do everything we can short of physically pulling people to the dance floor. We play the most recognizable, fun, upbeat music. We stay as enthusiastic and upbeat as possible. We try to create as inviting of an atmosphere as possible. to get people up and dancing, and we will never give up on your crowd.
Yeah.
So if the first hour isn't great, we're not going to go, okay, these people aren't dancing and we're going to give up. We will never, ever, ever give up on your guests.
Relentless.
And yeah. So that, I think that's, I kind of hedge my bets a little bit and assure them that it's rare, but if it does happen, we do everything we can. So
yeah, I mean, and I also will go through like, the kind of the riff that Mike was saying earlier, and I'll go, well, think about it, guys. They got there at 5 for the ceremony. Then they had a cocktail hour. Then we did a few more formalities, and then they had a 45-minute dinner. Then a couple more formalities and toasts. Like, you got to realize when I turn these lights down and say, ladies and gentlemen, the dance floor is open. These people are, especially now in the post-pandemic world, these people are busting at the seams to get on that dance floor. It's like the first first measure of the first dance song is like, whatever, say a sign, seal, deliver. It's like, I mean, even when I was doing these 25, 35 people weddings, Mike, you and I talked about that. I mean, in the middle of a pandemic with people wearing masks on the dance floor, they hear that first song. It's like, oh, hell yeah, let's dance.
Right. Yeah, it's funny though that this is a rare question for us, and you say you get it in almost every client.
I swear, I get it a lot.
Which I'm gonna piss off some people down in North Carolina, but that tells me that DJs in New Jersey might be better than DJs in North Carolina, because if that's a common concern, it's not.
They've seen a lot of bad DJs.
Yeah, they've seen a lot of bad DJs.
That's right.
I think your typical New Jersey bride doesn't. That's not
right
on her mind, because she's probably been to 9 weddings and all 9 weddings rocked, whether it was Elite or SCE or anyone else. So,
listen, I'm not going to disagree with you, but shout out to my North Carolina DJs that are actually good.
Time to step up your game, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. You want to give me another one, or you want to give me one?
Let me see. Well, here are a couple, Mike, that so I was getting these from Randy, and I was saying, Randy, you deal with the majority of the inquiries. What are some of the more difficult questions that we need to answer, other than, like Mike said, your price and are you available? So why is Joe more expensive than the rest of the guys? We get that a lot, because and you've talked. We talked. I'm gonna have
to pass on that, because I would do would be making up an answer. Yeah. So yeah, why don't you let me give you that? Hey Joe, we're looking at you, and we're also considering Randy. Why are you $1,000 more?
That's a great question. And I'll be completely honest with you. It is not because I'm better than any of my guys. All of my guys work here for a reason. They were trained by me. They're Bunn DJ Company soldiers, have been here for a long time. My premium charge is because I do not need or want to play every weekend. And I'm a little bit more choosy on my clients as I approach 50 years on this planet and 30 some years of DJing. I have a family. I have a wife. I've missed too many soccer games. I've missed too many of my friends' weddings. And to be honest with you, I would rather play 2 really good weddings every month, 2 or 3, instead of being out there every single weekend. So I made a premium price. It's not offensive, but it's enough to where it does, dissuade some people from booking me and going to Randy. But I'll be honest with you, who sent you? And they'll go, oh, Erin McLean, the wedding planner. And what did she say? And she said, you have to get Joe if he's available. And I just kind of shrug, and I'm like, there's your answer. Right. A lot of people refer me directly, even though they love my guys. They love working with my guys. They know that they're great, but sometimes it's just, you want the owner of the company, you got to pay a little bit more. And most people are like, I get it. Now, again, it's $1,000. It's not $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. It's
right. But it's still in the scope of a wedding. All right, good answer. Yeah, I needed to pass on that, because it's not.
I knew that, but I just wanted to.
No, it's a great one. Yeah.
Well, and along the same lines, Mike, it's like, is this one? Because, and again, you can kind of rewind a little bit and tell people how you do it. But how do you go about assigning a DJ?
That's on my list. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, no, it's a variation on that question. But
okay, you want to ask that one?
Yeah. So
because you don't do that, right? Like, I mean, even
we don't assign. We allow. Correct. Well, most of our packages, we do have some packages that we call non-guarantee, where the client doesn't. It's a discounted price, so the client can't pre-select their MC. But most of our wedding packages, you can pre-select your MC.
based off of like video footage and such.
Yeah.
Right?
So in other words, once we get to that part of the sales process, I will send you 3 or 4 DJs who are available on your day, and you can select from there.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, go ahead if you want to ask.
So I'm not going to ask this next one. Your clients do know who's showing up at their wedding, right?
1,000%.
Okay.
From day, well, because they've met with them. Remember, they've met with them in the consultation from day one.
Okay. So then let me ask this next question because it's right on that topic. What if something happens to the DJ we selected?
That is a great question. In the history of the company, so we've been incorporated, I think 21, 22 years now. I can only think of twice in the last 22 years and thousands of events that it has happened. And here's the beauty of me owning what's called a multi-op company. And a multi-op company is we have 16 DJs just here in the Raleigh office, is that the beauty of it is, and again, I'm assuming we're at the consultation right now, Mike, is remember when I showed you guys a DJ event planner and how you log into your portal and you choose your music and you do your event planner? And they're like, yeah. So that's in the cloud, easy, right? So one time I remember one of my DJs that had been with me forever, he texted me on a Saturday, which I tell my DJs never to do unless they are literally on fire. I was at the movies with my sons. I walked out of the theater and I was like, what's wrong? He said, I'm on the ground in my kitchen. My back is blown out. There's no way I can get to this wedding. And he had given me 6 hours before the ceremony time. And I said, look, Greg, no problem. See if you can get to a chiropractor or doctor or just rest. And all I did was pick up the phone. I looked at DJ Event Planner again because I can see all the DJs that are still open that date. I called up Ken. I said, get off the couch, quit taking a nap, quit watching the game, put on a suit and head to Durham. You're doing Susie and Steve's wedding today. And I said, go on DJ Event Planner, print out their planner, print out their music list, and you'll be good to go. And other than one guy was a big, bald, white guy and one guy was a small, black guy, they didn't know the difference. They had met with Greg 9 or 10 months ago. Ken, when he showed up, wasn't the guy, explained, look, Greg is hurt. There's no way he was going to make it. I promise you I'm going to kick butt today. And they had an amazing time. They've left us an amazing review. In fact, didn't even mention the DJ switch, but just know that you are covered in case of an emergency. We always leave 1 or 2 guys or girls open to be on call.
Yeah. So my answer is usually similar. I said, I think in last week's episode that I never speak ill of the competition.
Right.
I think this is probably the only time where I even get onto thin ice. First of all, I do the same thing. I assure them that it's extremely rare. It's a great question, but just understand it's an extremely rare situation with Elite Entertainment. We don't do the bait and switch. It really has to be a very, very serious emergency. But that's the advantage of booking with a company rather than an individual DJ. If you book an independent DJ and an emergency happens to them the morning of your wedding, you're going to get a phone call saying, I can't make your wedding. Good luck finding a replacement. If something happens with the DJ that you selected, you're going to get a phone call from us saying, DJ XYZ can't make your wedding. DJ ABC will be there with all your information, with everything else. We just want you to know that. So that is the advantage booking with a company rather than an individual.
Yeah, I love that. Very similar answer.
Similar, yeah.
Now, Mike, I know a lot of DJ company owners, though, that don't assign a DJ until 2 or 3 weeks before the wedding. It's not our philosophy, but they're successful.
No, listen, I see the huge advantages. If I didn't have to guarantee a specific host,
sure.
First of all, working a new DJ into your schedule would be a lot easier. Right now I'm going back to training Coretta and Barry, who I was working with last winter. I want to finish up their training in April, but then the job becomes getting them events. If we had a bunch of assigned events plugged into our system, I could just assign them to those. So we don't have that system. But I don't think you can command the dollars that you and I get with that business model. I could be wrong. Maybe somebody is out there getting $2,000 an event without telling their client who the DJ is. But I always thought of that as, and like I said, we have a package within Elite where you don't know, but it's a budget package. It's that package that goes for $950 where you don't know who your DJ is going to be. So,
Yeah, I mean, my other ones kind of might circle back, and I'm assuming they would be a similar answer to the, why is Elite more than everyone else? But, we get a lot of what sets you apart from the other companies. Randy said, what do you do that makes every vendor we talk to say so many nice things about you?
That is a great question.
It is a great question.
Because first of all, the sale is already well on its way.
Exactly. At that point, I'm like, ching.
If you get that question and don't close the sales, what's the Jeffrey Gitomer saying? You suck at sales. Like if somebody, I would probably just answer that question by saying, well, it's really, really nice to hear. I as the owner of the company, I know we have a great reputation out there. Yeah. So it's just wonderful that gets assured. And I would have to think that makes you feel really good about your decision right now, knowing that every vendor you've spoken to has had, great things to say about us. So,
I mean, that's, again, I've said this before on the show. Like, I tell my guys, I'm like, if people say things like that, or really, quite frankly, if they came here after work, both of them, instead of going out to dinner, or maybe they're on their way to dinner or whatever, they left school, they left work, they've had a long day, and they're coming here to meet with you in person or on Zoom, period, whatever. Right. If you're breathing, you should book this show, guys.
Pretty much.
Yeah. They've been pre-qualified. Again, they know the pricing. We're not going to get to the end of the presentation. They're going to be like, honey, let's get out of here. You know what I mean? Right. We're not going to hard sell them. They basically are coming to make sure that you're a character they want to work with.
That you can put two sentences together and you don't reek of body odor and
or alcohol.
Right. So let me give you the last few that I have. I just got this question the other day, and I don't think I'd ever been asked it specifically this way. If we ask for a song that you're pretty sure isn't going to work, would you tell us that, or would you just play it?
Is this prior to the event or that?
Yeah, this was in the sales process. In the sales process, I'm on the phone with this couple, or maybe it was a Zoom call, and the groom said, I said, do you have any more questions? And he said, yeah, I have one. If we ask for a song that you are pretty sure it's not going to work, would you tell us, or would you just play it?
I know, Mike, but I'm saying, are they like, is he saying like, we're going to fill out our planner and you're going to get that the week before and you're going to go through it?
That's how I answered it.
Okay.
I said, well, in advance, when we talk a month in advance. Yeah. And I'll give you my answer then. I said, look, you're not hiring a yes person. Right. And I've never considered great customer service to be just do everything that the customer wants. If I said, I've seen this in advance. It's happened to me before. Yeah. If I look at your requests and I see a song that sends up a red flag, we'll talk about it.
That's exactly what I was
if you say to me, I don't care, this is an important song, I want you to play it, then by all means, I'm going to play it. But I will offer my opinion about something like that, because I've been doing weddings weddings for 30 years. I don't think you have that experience, so you may not know what's going to work and what's not. And he really appreciated that answer. Yeah, I think he was looking fishing for that, and not for somebody to say, well, I'll do whatever you want. Yeah. No, I'm just here and I've taught my staff that you can't be belligerent about it, and you can't say this won't work. Yeah, right. That because somebody's going to say, well, what do you mean this won't work? You don't know my crowd. You don't know. Right. But there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, let's talk about this song. I've used this in the past. Sure. And it hasn't worked. I don't have great experience with this genre. Sure. Playing 15 Grateful Dead songs or whatever it is. Sure. So there's nothing wrong with telling a client that, but always leave the ultimate decision up to them. Great point, Mike. And again, same answer. I would say, if I saw songs on your planner and on your last call, which we call the advance call here, I would want to talk about it with you guys. Hey, you've got a lot of Ray LaMontagne songs. Is it okay that I play these during cocktail hour or dinner hour? I don't think these are dancing songs. Oh, yeah, Joe. There is definitely a discussion going to be had if I look over that music list going into that final call or final planning meeting, whatever Mike calls it, and seeing a lot of
quote unquote non-danceable songs on there. Like you need to have that discussion with your
I think I even added, and that's the advantage of having a consultation, because not every company offers that. Some companies, you fill out your planner and the DJ has that information and it shows up. But
Sure.
I said to him, that's one of the advantages, that we're gonna have a consultation a month in advance.
Yep.
That's my opportunity to answer any questions you have, offer suggestions, and then also, if a red flag goes up, we'll talk about it in advance rather than the night of.
Yep. I love that.
So I've got two more quick ones.
Okay.
And speaking of, okay,
real quick, Mike, on the music thing, I had something I wanted to say about it. Along the same lines, Mike, just out of curiosity, real quick, have you had people approach you either in the initial inquiry or in a consultation and be like, we have a list of songs, this is it, this is the Bible, this is, or even further, in this order? Have you had that? And did you walk?
Where are we? Are we in the sales process?
No, you're you're in the sales process, and they've sent in an inquiry. And Mike, just to let you know, we have a list of songs that is not to be deviated from and or played in this order.
So
is that a walk away?
Well, here's how I would answer that.
Okay.
I have no problem playing every single song on your list, or as many as I can fit in the time.
Okay.
But it can't be in this specific order. And here's why. Joe, my groom. Do you know what time dinner is going to be served? Exactly.
No.
Okay. So how can you know now, a year in advance of your wedding, what time I should go to dinner music?
Sure.
You can't possibly know that. So you can give me your dance songs, you can give me your dinner songs, but you need to give me flexibility of mixing those songs up. And if you don't want to, I understand that, but then we
might not be the right company.
Yeah, we're not the company for you.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jim Cerrone actually put this one out. He was apparently asked this question, and I saw it a couple weeks ago, so I grabbed it for this specific podcast. Jim was asked, after 10, can you play non-clean versions?
I'll be honest with you, at private events, whether it's a wedding, corporate event, anything like that, I just do not play unedited music. Like I've taken most of it out of my library. When the new top 40 stuff comes out, I go on the record pools that we're members of, and I specifically download the clean versions. I just can't imagine, out of the audience that's still going to be there from 10 to midnight or however long your event's going, that there's not going to be a few people in that audience that I would possibly offend. And, you hired me. I'm there pretty much representing you and myself, and the opportunity to get other business, possibly from people that are seeing me at this event. I just do not feel comfortable playing unedited songs at your event. I'm sorry. And if it was a deal breaker, Mike, there's certain shows that I would walk away from. Right. It makes me cringe just thinking about it, man. I just, there's going to be people there that are going to be offended, whether they're old, young, you don't know. Some people just don't like that kind of language.
Right. Yeah, I would give a similar answer. I've never been asked this before. So like I said, I just grabbed it off of Facebook. Shout out to Jim Cerrone. Yeah. I would probably even say to them, why is that important to you?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of those, I'd be willing to walk away from that event if they insisted on that for a similar, and I don't know if I would go into it that in depth with them.
Sure.
But every wedding is an opportunity for future shows. And I don't want people to go, oh, he's that kind of DJ. Even if you do an announcement, a caveat, and say, okay, folks, it's 10 o'clock. Bride and groom have requested no more clean versions. So if you're easily offended, I just wouldn't want to make that kind of announcement.
Me neither, man.
And I wouldn't want to do it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, I'll be honest with you, I don't even have that kind of, I delete all those songs off my playlist. I don't have any non-radio friendly versions of songs. So even if we said yes, I couldn't do it.
Mike, even on Peloton, the rides that are explicit are marked explicit, but I've seen, I saw that girl Kendall that I love to ride with the other day. She played WAP, and she gave like 3 warnings before it came on. Then I could even see she was uncomfortable, and she's the one that programs the sequence. Right. She just was like, "Woo, this is spicy."
She not know what was
right. I'm like, yeah, you're the one that picked it. You're the instructor. Right. But I could even tell she was uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And she. How many classes do they ride a day? It's just, anyway.
Right. So I got one last one. Do you have another one?
I don't. I'm all out.
So and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this. So it's an interesting one because it's the same answer as ours. Do you offer a money back guarantee?
Golly, that's the first time I've ever been asked that.
All right, so role play. A client just said, "Joe, we really like you guys. Do you offer a money back guarantee?" Got to think on your feet faster than this.
Yeah, I know. Good Lord. I'll be honest with you, Karen.
That's funny that you called her Karen.
Exactly. I'll be honest with you, Karen. We would offer a money back guarantee if I wouldn't phrase it like that. I'll be honest with you, Karen. Out of the 20 years that I've been doing this, I can only think of a couple of occasions where we've had to offer some money back, and it was due to faulty audio at a ceremony event. So we set up, we did a sound check, the mics were perfect, and the officiant walked out, and all of a sudden it was, and a lot of people missed the majority of the ceremony. The client was very upset, as she should have been, and sometimes technology does that to us, and we gratefully and rightfully refunded that part of the event. Went on to do the rest of the reception. Couple had an amazing time, left us an amazing review, didn't even mention the ceremony, and life went on. Those are the only times in my career that I can recall giving a partial refund. So in an instance like that, I would answer yes. I didn't do that fast enough, but that's okay.
So then now we're off script here. Would you, if the client said, well, great, we want you to put that in the contract, would you write that into the contract?
Yeah. I mean, but how would you word it? If something went wrong?
Yeah. If something goes wrong, you're going to get your money back? Because what that question comes from, there are some people in this industry who say, I offer a money back guarantee. If for any reason you are unhappy with our services, I will give you all your money back.
That dude, and every time every time we close, go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. I'm saying I give those people credit because to me that's balls out. That you're taking that risk that you're going to have a bitchy client who says, hey, you know what? You played 99 out of my 100 requests.
Sure.
I want my money back.
Sure.
I'm not willing to stick my neck on the line for that.
I don't think I am either. But how do you answer? I mean, do you say, no, we don't offer a money back?
I say no. We do not offer money back. And then this is where I volley back to our Wedding Wire reviews. I say, because we get that question from time to time. We do not offer a money back guarantee. However, if you want to know how happy our clients have been with our services, please go read our Wedding Wire reviews. You will see the overwhelming 99.999% of our clients were thrilled, thought they got great value, loved the experience. So I don't see the need to offer a money back guarantee. If anything wrong happened at your wedding, I'm a fair businessman and we would come to some kind of agreement, but I wouldn't put it in your contract. Yeah. And that's one of those, those sometimes questions like that we've talked about, you need to walk away from the deal. That could be a deal breaker. A client, if they're looking at a competitor that they're happy with, that does offer it, they might go with them instead. But I'm willing to lose that deal and not risk a nightmare client who just wants her money back for the littlest thing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's different. Like with the Vault, when we do those membership drives, we have hundreds of people watching those webinars, and I go into that sales pitch at the end, and I'm like, 100% money back guarantee within 30 days, but that's $30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I say, we'll send you a $5 Starbucks gift card for wasting your time. So I'll go to that length on something like the Vault again. Right. But am I going to do that on a $3,000 DJ contract?
I think as a multi-op owner, the only way to offer a money back guarantee is if you also have an agreement with your staff that if the client wants a money back, and I know my DJs are like, hell no, because again, if we make a legitimate mistake, we're going to offer a refund.
Sure.
And if we really screw up a wedding, I'll offer the whole money back. But I don't want to be refunding $2,500 because an uplight didn't work.
Right. Because Mike, at the end of it all, somebody sits down at the end of this thing that wanted to spend $25K, puts pen to paper, and they spent $35K. Who the first person they're going to look for? Oh, remember Elite said they'd offer a money back guarantee.
Right.
They only played 99 of my 100 songs. I've got the recording. The videographer had a camera rolling the whole time. I'll show him, and then I'll get my $2,500 back, and then Now we're that 10 grand I overspent is down to 7,500, and you're like,
Right.
what the hell just
I
happened?
had a client years ago. We used to offer free giveaways in every package,
Yeah.
Lays and maracas and
Sure.
neon necklaces.
Sure.
And the DJ forgot it. He forgot his bag of, and even though it was free afterwards, they complained, and I said, look, I'm sorry, I'll send you 100. Well, that's not enough. We really expected. So I remember I knew the banquet manager really well, and I called him and I said, hey, I'm having a problem with this client. And he laughed and he said, oh my God. He said they had 3 people not show up at their wedding. And so they called him after the wedding and said, we want those 3 meals. No, they wanted the meals. They said, we want to come down. We paid for those meals. And the banquet manager was like, that's not how this works, And they're like, well, no, we paid for those 3 meals. We want to go pick. They came back from their honeymoon. They're like, we want to. So they are the vast minority, but the term bridezilla exists because there are some bridezillas.
Oh, no, it's real.
And I don't want to put in writing that I will refund if anything goes wrong, money back guarantee, because someone's going to go.
Okay, I'm changing my answer. I'm not putting that in mine. I would never write that either. But that I would still stand by my answer of here's what's happened in the past. Kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where, again, I probably volley to our reviews maybe too often, but that's where I go, look, over 2,000 people have reviewed us on Wedding Wire. Go read their responses. Not one of them wanted money back. So you're in good hands.
I mean, Mike, from what we know, that's the top 1 percentile in the country, right?
I think so.
Of number of reviews.
Wedding Wire won't give me an answer to that question, but maybe if I spent more money with them, they would. This has been good, Joe. I like this. Man. I hope our listeners got a lot out of this.
Great topic, Mike. You killed it as usual.
I did. Yes.
I don't have a teaser for next week, of course, but I will by the time this rolls around. So we're pre-recording this. So if anything crazy happens in the world, I don't know what more crazy could happen that we need to report on, but that's why this has been pre-recorded.
That's why we didn't mention it.
Yeah. Right. So thank you guys for listening as always, and we will be back again next week.
Ciao.